Today we're going to talk about how to soak and cook some dried beans. So why were they dried in the first place? Well, 1. For storage. These practically last for months, if not years. 2. For transport. Because they're about 60 to 70% water, drying them would remove up to 60% of the weight. And 3. To retain almost all the nutrients. So why don't we cook them straight away? Well, it'll take ages. And more importantly, to really maintain their structure, gentle hydration is the best way forward. And of course, you get to get rid of some of the hard to digest stuff in the beans during soaking. How do we do it? We rinse to get rid of most of the dirt and to take out the ugly ones. We add way more water than you think you need. And we salt. Yes, salt in general would draw out some moisture and risk toughening the skin. But there's something else happening here called the ion exchange, which is way above my pay grade. In essence though, you have two very tough guards watching the beans, doing all they can to stop the water from coming in. The salt replaces those two with one relatively lazy guard, and the floodgate opens. Don't trust me? Try both ways. Now this, 8 to 24 hours. If you're short on time, you can bring this to a boil 1 to 2 hours. It wouldn't rehydrate as evenly, but it will still be good to go. I'll see you tomorrow. After a minimum of 8 hours and maximum a day, these are ready. Now, the first order of business is that we drain them and discard the soaking liquid. There's no such thing as bean dashi. This is not something you want to digest. We rinse to clean them and get rid of the excess salt. Perfect. Now you have a few options. You can add them to your braising liquid directly, and this would maximize flavor integration and keep it one pot. It'll take anything between 90 minutes to 2 hours. One thing to note though is that most dried beans, and kidney beans in particular, contain a protein called lectin that needs to be properly destroyed before consumption, and you can do so by boiling them for 10 minutes. So make sure it's a stew that you're happy to boil. Which brings us to our second option. We par cook them to the doneness that you desire in salt water. This way you have way more control over both the time and texture. And once fully cooled down, you can keep them in the fridge for at least 3 days, so you can even do this ahead of time. Our third option, which would bring this the closest to store-bought canned beans, is to fully cook them. And you can take the opportunity to season the cooking liquid with the aromatic vegetables of your choosing. Herbs work extremely well with the beans, and this will take anything between 1 to 2 hours. This way you not only have control over texture, but also the flavors you want to introduce to the beans. If you want to speed things up, pressure cooker 20 to 30 minutes. In the coming weeks, let's cook some beans.